Okay guys, we got our first two little batches. They're actually our second and third batch of powder. I've got it in hydrochloric acid. I'm going to boil it for about a half an hour. Then we're going to rinse it again, and then that stuff will be ready to melt. So we are continuing on over here, warming. I might actually just go ahead and pour that in a bucket and denox it here in a bit. This is still warming. It's almost warm enough to go ahead and put some sulfamic acid in it, and slowly but surely we are turning that cloudy stuff into that nice clear stuff. So we will be back again in a bit. Okay guys, we are boiling our caps, which you can see are going real good. We have two distinct different colors of gold here, that's for sure. But the caps are the ones on the left that are simmering pretty good. And this is our fingers, which are obviously, there's a little bit of copper contamination in there, which we're going to get out right now. You can see there's a little bit of color in there. So anyway, I'm going to let these continue to go. The one on the right, which is our fingers, is just now starting to simmer and boil. So this one's been going for about 10 minutes, so I'm going to let it go another 20, and we'll be back. This is still dripping, but we got a good, clean, beautiful solution. This is about ready to go ahead and denox, but I think what I'm going to do first is finish that stuff up. I want to go ahead and drop this one and get it on the shelf, and then we'll work on that. So we will be back. Okay guys, we've got our other two golds cleaned up. I just have to rinse them a few times with some distilled water. Then those guys are ready to melt. We are ready to drop this one. This is our copper top BGAs. So let's get to it. Well, I want you out of my way. Again, we're just going to go slow because I don't know what's going to happen with the sulfamic acid. If we're going to get a fizz or not. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Trying not to hit the sides, but a little bit more. And there we go. And just for good measure, I'm going to put a little bit more. Okay guys, looks like we got another pretty decent drop. I'm going to let this one go now, and we will clean up that gold in the morning. So I will be back at you when we're ready to drop our other BGAs. Okay guys, I just looked up at this the drop we just did, and this is something new. I have never seen that before. It has turned cloudy. Not cloudy from the drop, but like cloudy. It almost looks like from silver, but I don't know. So we're just going to leave that sit till tomorrow, and we're going to take a peek at it. I'm warming up our other one from our BGA chips to go ahead and denox it, see if we have to filter it again. And I just happened to look up at this while I was rinsing those two guys, and it went from being clear to this. Very interesting. So it's always something new. Alright guys, we'll be back in a bit. Okay guys, I'm going to go ahead and drop this. I'm not seeing anything going on. It has cooled off. I'm going to show you something up here on the shelf in just a minute again with that drop we just did. And I'll just show you that in a minute. Anyway, let me go ahead and get this one going again. I don't know what it's going to do, so I'm just going to add a little bit at a time. I'm not seeing a fizz, so I'm going to go ahead and pop it in there. Now this, remember, is our non-copper top, and they're doing exactly the same thing. It's turning that blue and getting real powdery black all over everything. Alright, I don't know what is up with this. So I used exactly the same stuff that I used on everything else. So we're going to see what happens here. All I can say as far as that first BGA drop, I am extremely displeased with it. I just watched a video, I can't remember if it was, I think it was Owltech, and the guys actually said he did some copper top BGAs, and he actually, or I think the title of the video was "Where's the Gold?" So I don't know what is going on with this. I'm going to go and see if I can do a little research and figure it out. We got a good drop, but I have a feeling it's going to turn blue like this other one. And it's very fine and very powdery, and it shouldn't be. That stuff was clean. So hang on and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay guys, what I did was I took this was where we did our drop, and it was clear and it looked normal, and then I stuck my head up and looked at it, and it was like this. So I don't know what is going on with that. So what I did was I went ahead and poured this off in here in a separate beaker. I'm going to let it settle and see what it, see what happens. I know there's more gold in it. I can see it dropping out, but that is the gold from 728 grams of the copper top BGAs, and that's what I'm saying. Where's the gold? I mean, that to me, that's very disheartening. I can tell by looking at that, that's not much. So I'm going to see what happens with this. I have never seen this before. I have never seen a video of this happening before. So I'm going to let it settle overnight. Like I said, I saw this one start to turn blue. I don't know what it's going to do yet, but I can tell it's dirty. The drop is dirty because we've got some foam, and the gold is very fine, and this should not be dirty. I mean, neither one of these guys did that. So, and this is our BGA chips. So I'm just going to go in and do some reading and see what I can find out or figure out. I'm going to leave this stuff for tomorrow, and we'll maybe do some melting tomorrow. But that was a lot of work, and that is shook over into the corner. So I'm hoping some more settles out in here, and I'm going to see if I can figure out what this blue is, or this aqua blue. And I'm hoping that this one doesn't do it, but it looked like it was going to do it too. So I don't know. Alright guys, we'll be back out here at it tomorrow. At least these two are clean and ready to melt. Hopefully we don't have any issues with this. But I mean, I was counting on at least two grams of gold out of this. and 5 out of this one. So I can already tell by looking at that 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 is not 2 grams. So I'm going to check my ash. You know, I kept my concentrate. This is all the stuff from this refine. I've disposed of nothing. I'm not going to dispose of nothing till we check everything again if we have to. I mean, there's our BGA stuff. You saw how rich that solution was. There's our processor chips. So, I mean, if I have to go hunting gold, I'll go hunting gold. But I don't think I made any goofs with the BGAs. And I've done BGAs many, many, many times. And I've never had that. I don't know what that is. So, and there's even our little, from our little button that we've already melted. So everything is here. I'm just a little disappointed with this drop and with what's going on here. All right, guys, I'm gonna go in and relax. I'm tired. I've been out here all day. So we'll see you tomorrow. Okay, guys, it is the next morning. I'm actually glad that I poured off that, whatever this white junk is. Like I said, I am still quite disappointed in this drop from the copper tops. I did look it up last night, you know, trying to figure this stuff out, but I know I'd mentioned a video that I watched about some of these copper tops, and it was Owl Tech, if you want to go look it up, and that's what he said, where's the gold? I think they did almost 10 kilos and they ended up with next to nothing. So anyhow, I don't know what was up or what's up with those, but they're definitely not up to par. And maybe it's those littler new ones, or the new looking ones, the small guys. They're look like about 3/4 of an inch by 3/4 of an inch. But I expected a lot more than that. This is our drop from our regular BGAs. It didn't do like the other one. You can see it's just a little green, tinted green. I'm not sure about it. It's a 2,000 milliliter beaker, so that's a pretty good size drop, I think. You know, that's why I said in here, in a beaker this big, it's hard to even judge if I think where it's close to be. You know, where I'm hoping for 5 grams, but I don't know. Anyway, I took this stuff out here. Watch out, Eb. I took this stuff out here because it kind of settled down. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to. This little darker area is gold, because naturally I poured some of it off. I have no idea what this is at first, so I'm going to eliminate some things right quick for you, but it's been sitting out here in the sun for quite a while now, and it's not turning purple, so it's not silver. I thought, remember near the beginning or somewhere in there I talked about I cleaned these beakers with salt. When that did that, it kind of hit me that maybe the salt, you know, dropped out some silver chloride. But if you remember, I didn't clean this. I didn't clean the BGAs with hydrochloric acid or AP. I used nitric acid. So if there was any silver in there, it should have went into the nitric acid, which obviously it did, because that white powder that's out there is not silver. Then I did another test, because even though I scrubbed the beakers out and the glasses out with rock salt, I still washed them and cleaned them after the fact like I normally do. And if anything, this one should have had the most leftover salt in it, if any, because you can't get anything in here, you know, I mean, to scrub it like you can a regular beaker. So this is one of my older beakers. As you can see, it is stained still a little bit, but this beaker's, gosh, I don't know, 25 years old. But that little bit of fluid in the bottom is actually silver nitrate. I put some silver nitrate in here, actually silver cell filler. I put that in here and let it sit all night, and that fluid is still clear. So, and the same thing with this one. It's absolutely clear. There's no cloudiness to it at all. So if it was salt and silver, both of those should show a little bit of, you know, silver chloride, and they're not. So I obviously had my beakers clean, including this one. That obviously sitting out in the sun and not turning purple or getting dark, it's obviously not silver chloride. So I have no idea what it is. All I know is that is a puny little drop for nearly a kilogram, or 3/4 of a kilogram of BGA chips, copper top or not. So hopefully this one's up to par. I'm thinking that these guys in the back that are waiting to be melted are close to being up to par. So this is the only one so far I think that's going to hurt us. I actually got a couple things I'm going to do, and then I'm going to get back out here. I'm going to put this stuff on the heat and get it warming up, and get that warming up so that I can put it in a bucket and drop it. I did decide to do it that way. Now I'm going to quit moving the stuff around. I don't want to lose any more gold than necessary. So anyhow, hopefully today we'll get to melt these. I don't know yet. I got to go finish doing what I'm doing, and I need to get this out of here and get it cleaned up. So we'll be back at you in a little bit. Hey guys, I'm just popping in for a second. This has nothing to do or pertain with this refine, but I just had to show you this. I told you I brought some silver nitrate out to test those beakers and those flasks for salt, and I figured I might as well. I've had it in solution forever, so I figured I might as well go ahead and drop it out. But I just wanted to show you, this is absolutely the neatest silver chloride drop that I have ever seen. I mean, that's a lot of silver, and it's not done yet. I still got to pour more salt water in it. So anyway, I just want to pop in and show you that. Okay guys, we've got our gold excuse me, we've got our gold rinsed from our regular BGA chips, and I've got it in some HCl. I'm going to boil it for about 30 minutes and clean it up. This is, again, I poured a bunch of hot water into here. I'm hoping to float out whatever that white stuff is, and that the gold will settle quicker, and this will stay a little cloudy, bluish white cloudy, so that I can pour that off. And then I'm going to go ahead and clean that little bit of gold up. Apparently, the only thing that I could come up with from everything that I saw and everything that I read is it's copper 1 chloride. How it formed or why it formed, I have no idea. I would have thought that you know, cleaning these with nitric acid would have gotten rid of the copper and the silver. Obviously there was no silver. This is still, let me show you over here. It's still been out in the sun pretty much all day. It's still white. So it's got to be copper 1 chloride. That's the only thing I can think of. And being the fact that I'm not a chemist, I just, practical knowledge is all I have. So that's what I could glean from everything I saw, that's what that is. This is actually our pan of black sand, if you want to call it that, from our copper top BGAs. Just for curiosity's sake, I'm going to throw this in the bottom of a gallon jar, and I'm going to put some aqua regia on it again. I am just stunned that there's no more gold in there than that. I knew there wasn't going to be near as much as there was with the with the regular ones, but this just kind of vexes me. So I'm just going to hit it again with aqua regia and see what happens. Anyway, this is working. This seems to be working, doing what I want it to do. It's staying that aqua colored cloudy, and it looks like the gold is settling out a lot faster than that stuff. So hopefully I can clean it up by just rinsing it with hot water several times and floating it out. Alright guys, we'll be back. Okay guys, so I've got those crushed up dyes from our copper top BGAs. In the bottom here I've added some nitric acid, some hydrochloric acid, so we now have it in aqua regia. I'm seeing a little color, but I'm not seeing, I'm seeing like a little bit of green, but I'm not seeing any kind of a major reaction. So anyway, I'm just going to put this up on the shelf and leave it sit and see if we get any more gold out of it. I mean, I don't know what else to do. I mean, we've checked everything else. Everything worked out right. We did everything right. We ended up with this foggy looking rinse water from copper. I mean, it's probably from using SMB to drop it, but it was clean. You know, I mean, you saw the solutions. They were beautiful and they were clean. So it's not, you know, you got to kind of be careful with SMB when you're doing a drop like this. You know, you want to try and get close to the amount of SMB that you need. But when you're doing a clean drop, you shouldn't have to worry about it. So I'm going to let this sit. I might let it sit for a day or so and just see what happens. So we will be back. Okay, guys, we are coming to the end of our boil for our VGA gold. I've got my bucket cleaned out. I'm going to get this stuff in there, and I'm actually going to go ahead and denox it. I am going to use sulfamic acid again. I probably should go get some more before I do that because I've only got that little bottle. But anyhow, so when I get back out, we will go ahead and get this in this bucket, get it denoxed, and get it dropped. And hopefully we're going to make up for the gold with this one. So we'll be back. Okay, guys, real quick before I get started on this. This is I've rinsed it a couple times. It's pretty cloudy still. But that is my solution from the, not my solution, but my drop from the copper top VGAs that apparently has copper 1 chloride in it. How it got there, I don't know, but that's the only thing I can figure out that it was. So apparently I have found nothing that tells you how to dissolve that because it is mixed in with the gold. So I'm just going to take a guess because I have no idea. But being that the copper chloride supposedly won't dissolve, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that settle out. I'm going to get most of the water out of it, and I'm going to put it in aqua regia again. So if I put it in aqua regia again, I should be able to dissolve the gold, leave the chloride behind, hopefully, filter it out, then drop the gold again. So that's what I'm going to try. If that doesn't work, what I'm going to do is just melt a little button out of it, and I'm going to end up having to try and uncord it and do it that way. So anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and get these solutions poured in here. So let me see how I want to do this. Hang on, I'll be right back. I got to get a little more water. This is our aqua regia. So I've got to rinse it real good. Okay, now what we're going to do is we are going to denox this with some sulfamic acid. It should be plenty warm enough. And we are just going to continue to do that until we get no reaction. It's very hard to work with a big old bucket and show you guys everything because the camera's right in the way, right in front of it. So we are still getting a reaction, so I'm going to continue to do that until I don't. Alright guys, I'm going to move this for just a second so that I can do what I need to do, and then I'll get back to you. Okay guys, I had to break out the big bag of sulfamic acid because my little bottle emptied out, so we're going to see if we need to continue. I am seeing still a little bit more reaction, so I'm just going to keep going until there is none. Well, it looks like we're getting close. Still seeing a little reaction though, so I'm going to continue on. You can see it come up to the top as a little foam. Still getting a reaction. So I'm going to just continue doing this. No point in putting you through this till this stops. So I'll just get back to you when we're getting ready to add the SMB. Okay guys, I'm not seeing too much more reaction. I think we finally got it nulled out. I don't see, I just put a last teaspoon in and I'm not seeing anything come up. Maybe a speck, but I don't see, I don't see foam coming up like it was. Figuring these at a 486, which like I said earlier in a couple of the other videos, I don't think they're going to yield as good as a 486. For the amount of processors that we had, best case scenario, there'd be a ½ ounce of gold in here. Like I said, it was aluminum bond wires, so we didn't have gold bond wires. That's a negative. I don't think the plating was as good as a 486 plating. So anyway, what I'm figuring, like I said, at best we're looking at 15 and a half grams. If they process out like a standard Intel, we're looking at about half that. So maybe a little less than half that. It just depends. That's normally what, Intels are about 0.04. Yeah, 0.04, and 486 is somewhere around 0.1. So anyhow, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix me up. I'm going to overshoot it. I'm going to put about 25 grams of SMB, which might be a little bit too much for this being a dirty drop, but I'm going to redo it again, so it's no big deal. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm going to mix it up in some warm water, and I'm going to go ahead and put it in. So I'll get back when I get that ready to go. Okay guys, please excuse the fan noise, but we are going to get a lot of sulfur dioxide gas out of here, and I mean, it's not lethal, but it's not pleasant either. Okay guys, did that get your attention? It should have. I actually did this, and I'm doing this because Jam and Jeff brought up a point that I don't often address, and I'm going to take a couple minutes to address that here. He actually brought up the fact about wearing a mask. Alright, now I do have a mask, I do wear a mask, I do use a mask. but I don't do it all the time. First of all, when I'm explaining what I'm doing or videoing, it is extremely hard to wear a mask and talk. First of all, it's uncomfortable. You're constantly breathing out. The mask becomes very hot, and it's muffled. You can't hear what I'm saying. All right, but that's not an excuse to not do it. I was actually, the old man who taught me how to do this stuff actually had his own methods, and I actually have pretty much followed what he did. He didn't wear a mask ever. Now, I do wear a mask from time to time, and I do wear it more often than not, but he never did. His philosophy was, and if you go back to the foil video, I pinned Jamming Jeff's comment in that video, and there's a long explanation below it where I answered his questions as best as I could in the comments area. That's why I'm doing this now. Yeah, these fumes that we generate can be toxic. For the most part, I mean, if you do any kind of home refining, even if you work somewhere with it, you're going to get a whiff of this stuff from time to time. It's just going to happen. I mean, there's no way around it. If you're doing it, it's going to happen. Just like working in a garage and trying not to, get carbon monoxide in your lungs. It's going to happen. The trick is how to deal with it and prevent it from doing any damage. The old guy that taught me this basically said that his safety valve was his nose. Almost all these fumes, including sulfur dioxide, which I just said isn't lethal, to get your attention, all these fumes are lethal. Hey, if you breathe in water, that's lethal. Your lungs are designed for one thing, and one thing only: air. Anything else that goes in them, cigarette smoke, is lethal. Any kind of fumes, gas, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, all these things are lethal in lethal amounts. And this is where he said he uses his nose, and it's a fact. I was referring, I think what Jeff was referring to was me talking about hydrochloric acid and how it's worse, the smell or the fumes are worse than nitric acid. First of all, muriatic acid or hydrochloric acid is a very commonly used acid as far as regular people using it. They use it to clean concrete. It's used to put in pools. It has many, many, many uses. But most of these gases, too, are heavier than air. So not explaining what or why I said it and him paying attention and catching it is the point I'm trying to bring up. Apparently, now I don't know because I haven't looked up the gravity and all this on these acids, but apparently hydrochloric acid or muriatic acid is less dense than nitric acid, because when you open the bottle, you can almost instantly smell or detect the acid, which means it's rising up and coming up, so it's actually mixing in the air easier, where with nitric acid it has a tendency when you open it up, yeah, if you get close to the bottle you can smell it, but for the most part it's probably falling down. So anyway, but I just wanted to briefly talk about this. I'm not going to go into too much detail, we're already a few minutes into it. I just wanted to say that I use my nose like the guy who taught me did. I mean, the second that I detect, or the second I get a whiff of it, I stop breathing. And I've been doing this for, several years. And I have learned, many, many times when I'm putting something in a jar or I'm pouring acid, I'm not breathing anyway. I'm holding my breath. I have back fans going behind me. I don't breathe until, until I cap the bottle or until the area I'm in is safe to breathe in. And that's another thing. I said in that pinned comment, there are people that have little labs that are inside. I don't agree with that. I don't care if you got fume hoods, gas masks, and what you got. I live in an area here in the mountains where if it rains or the wind blows, we can lose power. Okay? What if you're in your little enclosed lab area and you're running your fume hood, which is run on electricity, and your power goes out? In essence, you are in a gas chamber now. Because whatever fluids you have heating in it, they're not going to just stop because the power went off. The fumes are going to continue. And if your power's off for any length of time, what are you going to do in that enclosed area? You're in a gas chamber. So my philosophy is follow your nose. Stick with the rules of doing this only outside, only in open air, and only in places where you can get away from it. So I just briefly wanted to address that. Maybe one day I'll sit down and do a video on this and do more research on the gravities of different fumes and this and that. But by the way, sulfur dioxide is extremely toxic. I just did that to get your attention. So let's get back to the video, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in. And I'm going to give it a stir. And we're pretty much going to leave it at that. Okay guys, that's it. We're going to leave this sit overnight and see what we get. Here is our bucket. I can tell just by the sides. This is why I don't like using a plastic bucket, but a good stiff rubber spatula works real good to scrape that stuff down. So because you can see it is kind of sticking to the side here a little bit. So anyhow, we're going to just let that set. I could tell by looking at it a minute ago before I moved it, we were getting a separation line. I could actually see that through the bucket. So I don't know if you can see it or not, but like right here. But anyhow, we're cleaning up our other gold. I can get this out of my way now. Nope, I can't. I have to wait. This is our gold from our, remember how black it was? From our man, I can't talk today. Our bigger batch of BGAs. That's hard to say. That was a lot of Bs. Anyhow, so that's all cleaned up. You can tell by how it moves that it's nice. So we've got that done. And one other thing I want to show you. We found a little more gold, I believe. See that jar with that big wide bottom? You see those bubbles? There's still something in there to dissolve. So I'm going to let that go. I'm going to actually get a big wide gold pan, one of my big gold pans, and this is the ash from the regular BGAs. That's the copper tops that we're getting a reaction in. I'm going to spread it out in that big bottom gold pan, and I'm going to put some aqua regia in that and see if we can't push a little more gold out of this. So anyhow, let me get some of this mess straightened up. I've got stuff scattered everywhere, and we'll get back to you guys in just a little bit. Okay guys, that is actually our, I've got it in hydrochloric acid again, but that was our gold drop from our copper top BGAs. That's hydrochloric acid in there now. I'm actually going to put some nitric in there and make a little bit of aqua regia and redissolve that powder and try and get rid of that little bit of chloride. This is our ash that was bubbling away a bit, so apparently we did leave a little bit of gold behind in there. So I'm going to leave that again, and I'm going to keep stirring it, and I'm going to get that other ash in that big gold pan. I just knew that I'm chasing the gold because it just didn't look right. So anyway, let me get finished doing what I was doing, cleaning up, get that other pan going. I'm going to go ahead and get some nitric in here and get that dissolving, and we will redrop that probably tomorrow. So check out on our bucket and see how it's doing. I spritzed it a while ago and knocked the gold off the top. I can see a separation line. See it right there? Can't really see it through here real good, but you can see it there. So I'm going to leave this sit, and I'm going to clean up probably and go in for the night. I've been out here once again all day and I'm pretty tired. So we'll get back with you guys tomorrow. Well, okay guys, it is the next afternoon. I actually couldn't get out here this morning. I had some errands to run, but I was going to do this. This is the regular BGA dust. I was going to do my baking dish thing, but I figured, well, before I do all that, I'm just going to check a beaker. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually chasing some gold, because yesterday I showed you that we got a reaction here. It looks like I got a good dissolve on that powder and got rid of that chloride, so that'll be good. That is our bucket that I've got to clean out. That's our copper tops. There's no reaction now. I came out this morning, and I put a little bit of nitric in there and stirred it up a little, and I still don't see any more reaction. But we do have some color there. This is the regulars, and we got some color here. So I'm going to break out the stannous and test this stuff, and I'm going to see if we got any more gold out of it. If we did, what I'm going to do is just keep transferring this aqua regia to the next one back and forth with this. I was going to do this, but when I poured some water out of it when I was cleaning it, I mean, it dribbles and runs, and I don't want to, I'm trying to find gold, not lose it. So anyway, let me get set up and we'll test these fluids and see what we got. So we'll be right back. Okay guys, the first test we're going to do is we're actually going to do a test on these where I redid the copper top BGAs. So I'm going to tip this forward. I'm actually going to get a little bit of fluid out of here. Oh, you got a little sand too, so we already know there's a little bit of crap in there. Okay, so that we got. I'm going to do this one first. So it is right here. Let's see, maybe I'm hoping we got some more gold out of this stuff, and it's not looking too promising. There might be, we're getting a little ring around the edge. There may be a speck of gold in there, but I don't even know if we're going to be able. Can you see that? And the black in the bottom is actually the chips. I stuck that thing too deep, but even that little bit of change went away. Alright, so we know that this is pretty much void. So that was, I don't know what the reaction was. I don't know what, why we got a reaction. Putting more aqua regia in there. But there is no more gold in those. So we got the gold that was in them. So I'm going to filter this off because I can still use that maybe with the other ones. Well, let's see if they're going to be worth redoing. Okay, this is the regular BGA chips. Try not to get crap on it this time. Okay, so that's the regular ones. Let's see if we got any more gold left in there. Alright, we actually do. So we have not a lot, but we do have some gold left in this. So I'm going to process the rest of that stuff again. I'll filter this aqua regia off and I'll use it to reprocess that stuff. So we may actually get a little bit more from our regular ones, so that's good. That was packed pretty tight in that jar, so I was going to do this anyway, check it, check a little bit of it just to see. But we actually do. We don't have, it's not a ton of gold, but to me it's enough to go after. So we have a little bit left in those. Let me get set up real quick. I want to filter this off because I'm going to need that aqua regia. We're actually, I haven't done an exact figure yet, but we're actually probably about $110 worth of materials into this refine right now in acids and filters. So I want to get all the gold. Alright, let me get set up. I want to go ahead. We know there's gold in this. We know there's not gold in this. So let me get set up to clean this up, and we're going to continue going after this gold. then we are going to work on our bucket. So we will be back. Well, that is the Aqua Regia from this, from the copper top BGA chips. And it looks like that solution. I mean, I'm going to test it one more time again after I filter it off, because I mean, that looks like gold solution. And I'm doubting there was any iron in it. I do know that this jar is now void. I know there's nothing else in this. So this is actually trash, so I can get it rinsed and get rid of it. So I'm going to let this finish filtering off. I'm going to test it one more time and see if we have any gold in it. I may even put it in a beaker and hit it with some SMB just for the heck of it, just to see. Because I have gotten a little bit of gold, when I got a negative test. So anyway, let me continue doing this, and let me test it one more time after we get it filtered and see what we got. So I will be back then. Okay guys, we're going to try this one more time. I mean, that looks like gold solution. Down in the comments, if anybody knows anything about what's going on here, leave me a comment down there. If you possibly know what that, if I'm right about that chloride, and that this stuff making an actually a kind of a cloudy sky aqua blue solution with that white crap in it. So I'm actually going to get a pretty good sample here this time. I may even, hang on a second, I'm going to make up some new Stannis. Okay guys, this is the little bit of gold that we got out of that drop that I redissolved to get rid of the chloride. I made some new Stannis. I put just a little tiny bit of that right there, and then this is from the what we just did again. Alright, so I know that's easy to tell. Boom. I mean, in just a split second, that's got a lot of gold in it. Okay. Okay guys, I'm getting that little bit of gold solution warmed up. I've got this water warmed up. I did this drop, and by the color of what I'm seeing here, either there's not enough gold in here to do anything, or it's not gold, and I don't know what it is. So I'm actually going to do this next drop on camera and see, because this, I don't know what is up with this. I've never seen this color. So we have two new colors from these copper top BGAs. So maybe a little bit of gold's going to fall out of that. I don't have any idea. I'm just going to leave it sit there and see what happens. But I would have thought it would have been a little bit more of a change and a little bit whatever, but it's not doing anything. So it doesn't look like it was dissolving and or dropping out and then redissolving. It didn't do anything. So anyhow, I'm just going to leave it sit there, and we're going to do this next one right now. So I'm going to get this back on the stand. I believe these are both warm enough, and I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to just go ahead and mix it right here, and then I'll get it on the stand. We're going to denox it, and we're going to drop this one. So let's see what happens with this. So I'll be right back. Let me put this camera on the stand. Okay guys, I've got some urea. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of urea in this. I'm hoping with that jar up there I didn't just waste. I'm not so concerned with the HCl, but I hope I didn't waste nitric acid on that, because we thought we were going to get some gold out of it, which we may still. I don't know. I've just never seen that color of a drop. Of course, I never saw that blue color we had yesterday either. So anywho, this will probably fizz a little bit even with the SMB, but we should get a decent little drop out of this. Well, that looks right now. There is something weird about these little chips. I don't know what it is, but these copper tops, there was something weird about them. Anyhow, at least that dropped out. We got some gold floating on top. It's dropping to the bottom already. I figured it would drop fast because it's pure. It should be nothing but gold in there. Hopefully we got rid of that chloride, so we should be in good shape on that. That is dropping out really fast, but that's all there is. So, anyhow, I hope I didn't, like I said, with this up here, I hope I didn't waste good nitric acid on this, because I'm not seeing anything in the bottom. Maybe a light little dusting, and I'm not seeing any kind of a color change like we saw in that. So anyhow, I'm going to let it set. Guys, we'll be back at you in a little bit. Up on the shelf here, I have I've changed over, so I've got to clean that. I poured the aqua regia from that into this little jar, and I'm just going to keep going back and forth and see if we can squeeze any more gold out of that, out of the regular ones. Alright, so I'll be back in a little bit. Okay guys, this was our redrop of our copper top BGAs. I spared you the eternal rinsing time, but anyway, and I transferred it over to this little beaker. So we're getting a little, well, let me see if this will focus, but anyway, we're getting a little long on this one. I think we're pushing 50 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and call this video. And besides, I'm getting tired. It is pitch black out here, and I'm going to go in and we'll get back at this tomorrow, but it'll be in the next video. So guys, take care, stay safe out there, and we will see you in the next video.